Joining me now, I have federal attorney Kelly Hyman for more. Kelly, good morning to you. Let me just, a lot to unpack here. Let me just start with Mangione, because today is a pivotal moment in that case where the judge will be issuing his long-awaited suppression ruling. Walk us through what's on the line there and what could possibly be thrown out.
This is going to be a critical hearing, not only for the prosecution, but for the defense. And here is why. Defense filed a motion to suppress. And what that means is certain evidence they do not want the jury to hear during the trial. And what evidence is that? A backpack. And in the backpack, there was a gun. There was also a notebook, which is called a manifesto. From the prosecution standpoint, this is key evidence that's going to help substantiate the case. In the state case, the judge had a hearing in which multiple witnesses testified, police people testified, and talked about what exactly happened in the McDonald's, what they found in the backpack. Today, we're waiting for the judge to issue this ruling to see ultimately what the jury evidence is going to come in this case.
Yeah, I know prosecutors have called that red notebook, that manifesto, a near confession. I mean, also inside you had a 9mm ghost gun, a homemade suppressor, ammunition, identification papers, a laptop. If the judge were to decide to throw out the backpack, all the evidence in it, can the case still go to trial? And how does that change Mangione's fate?
The case could still go to trial, but it's going to be much more difficult for the prosecution to prove the case, because the prosecution brings the case and they must prove every single element of the causes of action. And what is in that backpack really helps substantiate the case. Now, it's important to remember, in the federal case, there was also a suppression hearing, but the judge in that case decided to let all the evidence come in, everything from the backpack. But the state judge might do something different. We're going to have to wait and see what the judge ultimately decides.
Yeah, I know defense attorneys have also highlighted that Mangione wasn't read his Miranda rights until 19 minutes after officers first approached him. They argue anything he said before that point should be inadmissible in trial. Where do you fall on that, Kelly, and what do you think the judge will decide?
There's a really good argument from the defense standpoint that at some point, if they believe that, in fact, that he did some type of crime, then in fact, he should be given his Miranda rights. Now, from the prosecution standpoint, they'll say, initially, we were just asking him questions, trying to get information from him. But from the defense standpoint, once he gave them an idea that allegedly was false, that in fact was a crime, that he should be read his Miranda rights, right? Not to self-incriminate himself. And at that point on, everything else that he said should not be admissible because he wasn't given his rights, as you pointed out, until much later. So I think that's going to be cruel on where the judge draws a line on this, but I could definitely see some of his statements not something that the jury is going to ultimately hear.
Yeah, this is going to be fascinating to watch. We already have our crew there outside that courthouse this morning waiting for the big day. Let me pivot now just to talk about the OpenAI case between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. Musk says Altman violated the contract when it turned OpenAI from a nonprofit to a for-profit company. What's standing out to you here, Kelly, and what kind of case is this one shaping out to be?
Billionaire versus billionaire. From the defense standpoint, they're saying that Musk has sour grapes, that in fact that the OpenAI is successful and he is upset that he's not involved in it. But however, according to Musk, his position is that he invested in this company because it was supposed to be for nonprofit. It was supposed to be for good, but the defendants used the company to benefit themselves financially. Now, this case is really unique. And why this case is unique, because the jury is only going to give an advisory opinion. And what that means from a legal perspective is that the judge ultimately makes a decision because this case is in equity, but the judge has stated that she will follow along with what the jury decides in this case.
Interesting. An advisory opinion. Okay. Hadn't heard that before. Thank you for that clarification. I got to end it there. Kelly Hyman, thank you. We'll be watching all of these cases quite closely and hope to have you back on soon.
Great to see you.
Appreciate your time.